Hey, how's it going? Today I'm talking about make your easy pace faster, better, easier.
This is Running to the Castle, a podcast for injury-prone Run Disney runners on a journey to running magical miles. Join me, Dr. Allie, as I share the secrets I've gathered as a runner, doctor of physical therapy, and coach. You'll learn the exact ways I get my clients to the castle strong without feeling broken or held together with KT tape as they cross the finish line.
Okay, this month we are mostly talking speed work, pacing, getting faster. Today I'm talking specifically about your easy pace. So the other day I gave you some tough love and told you to stop going out with the same goal in mind. If you haven't listened to that episode yet, go back, listen to episode 118, and I will link that in the show notes. Listen to that one as well as this one. Actually, you can listen to this one first. When we are talking about your easy pace, there are so many different recommendations. People will say it should be conversational. It should be heart rate zone 2. It should be something that you could just run at all day. That's all well and good, but what does that actually mean? Because if you just go out lackadaisical, how are you actually doing any better? How is this getting you to your goal, your race pace, so that you don't get swept? Because that's the ultimate goal, right? Cross the finish line. Get through training of whatever you're training for. Goofy, dopey, princess challenge, chills and thrills. I'm doing chills and thrills. I want to finish. I also want to have time to do like a character stop or, especially because chills and thrills, we're going to have pain and panic there. And my God, do I want to get a photo with pain and panic? So now that I've said that, they're probably going to be the characters that are outside of the race. I'm just thinking of this now. They're probably going to be at the expo because that's how it goes. They're the theme. Duh, Allie. Okay, well, forget that I said that. I will be able to get a picture with them. I'm so smart sometimes, but really other times it takes a second once it comes out of my mouth. Anyway, let's talk make your easy pace faster, better, and easier. So, heart rate training. Let's talk about each of these. Conversational pace, heart rate training. Those are two different things that could be the same, but said a different way. So, heart rate training, I personally don't follow it, so I don't professionally recommend it. If you want to follow that, that's fine. The reason I don't professionally follow it is because there are so many factors that are going to go into your heart rate. And in order to accurately follow heart rate, you really need to get actual testing done and not just follow your watch. If you've noticed, your watch doesn't even accurately track your distance sometimes. So how are we going to say that it's accurately tracking our heart rate every time? Now, of course, you can get the chest strap, which is more accurate than your wrist will be. But there are also so many other factors that go into your heart rate that I find it's not an accurate representation, so it makes it really hard to follow. And it's all also frustrating as all get out because it can be so variable. So things that can affect your heart rate: heat, dehydration, stress, recovering from an illness coming on, if you are recovering from an injury, if you currently have pain, all of those will make your heart rate different. I'm not saying faster or slower, different. Okay? Typically it's faster, but it can be different because if you're in enough pain, For long enough, your heart rate can drop. If you are so overheated and starting to go into like a heat stress response, your heart rate can actually plummet. It's just, there are so many different factors. So now one could argue, well, you need to adjust for those factors as well, but sometimes you don't know. Not everybody can tell when they're stressed. I can tell when I'm stressed because I break out in hives. I have this fun response that way. And now thank God it's only like one little hive, but that's how I know I'm stressed. But it's probably like 12 hours after the stress has started that I notice that. So we don't always notice in the moment. Conversational, yes, this is good. I like that one, but you may not have somebody to have a conversation with. And then how are you just talking to yourself? Because feeling like it's conversational versus actually being conversational and doing the act of conversing, different. And if you run by yourself like I do, I don't like running in groups. I am in my own little world and want to keep my pace. So I'm not out there with somebody. I'm not talking with somebody. So, yes, that is actually an okay gauge. We're not always there with somebody else. So we might not be able to do it. So, what do we do instead? So, my recommendation is test it. And then once you test it, you have to track it. So, test it. Literally test your pace. The way I do it with my clients in Stronger, Faster, Finisher, or if we're working one on one together, if we work on, if I should clarify this. When I work with somebody one on one, if we start off early enough, like as an example, this past year, I started working with some clients for Dopey in like October, November timeframe. We don't necessarily have time to go through all of the things that I talk about on my podcast. So we may have skipped pace testing and made an educated guess based on past results. But we may not have had time to do the testing because of the short time working together before race day. But as another example, Stronger, Faster, Finisher right now, we just started in March. So we have plenty of time for pace testing for Dopey 2026 because we're in pre-training or base building. So timing will factor in. So if you're listening to this now and you're doing the marathon Dopey, Wine and Dine, Disneyland half weekend in January, or I guess technically February, or Princess next year, all of those you have time for some testing. Chills and thrills, you may or may not by the time you hear this. So take that information as you will. You may not have time to test it. But if you start early enough, test it. And the way you test it is I like to test it on a treadmill because then you have the number right in front of you. Look at the treadmill. And we don't need to be out here all day. So a good gauge is what pace can you run for 10 minutes and still feel like you could go longer? Have the discipline to not. You don't have to go longer, not when you're testing it. Have the discipline to not go longer than 10 minutes running that pace, but you could. You feel like, oh, this is easy peasy. The slower, the better. Okay. We don't need a fast, easy pace yet. On our first test, we don't need it. And then when you implement that pace, track it. Pay attention. If you use your Apple Watch, you can set it so it alerts you if you are outside of a range. I do recommend ranges because Apple Watch not great at alerting you to when you're not on target. Like it will alert you once. I've done this. I've tried it. Let's say I set my easy pace as 13 minutes per mile and I set that I want it to alert me if I'm not running that pace, whether faster or slower. It will alert me once and then never again. If I just stay outside that pace, it doesn't alert me again. So you do need to track it. You need to pay attention and focus in on it. So I do look at my watch frequently when I'm running my easy pace long runs outside. If I'm doing an easy pace long run on the treadmill, I just set it to whatever it is. Right now, I do 5 miles an hour as my easy pace long run on the treadmill. Does not always translate to outside. So outside, it's somewhere between 12 minutes and 30 seconds and 13 minutes per mile. And actually, the slower, the better. So if I want to slow down on the treadmill, I also will. But I find that 5 miles per hour on the treadmill is comfortable for me. Not too slow, definitely not too fast. But when I'm outside, I'm looking at my watch. I'm looking at it kind of whenever I think about it. If I feel like I'm starting to go too fast, I'm starting to huff and puff more, I look at it. If I come to a stop sign, I look at it. If somebody walks past me, I look at it. If I need to grab some water, I look at it. I almost feel like I'm constantly looking at it. And now, because I've been constantly looking at it, I actually don't need to look at it as much. And I don't obsess over it. I don't want this to sound like you need to obsess over your pace, but you do need to pay attention to it because we are awful at gauging how fast we're actually going, myself included. I am getting much better at it since I've started dialing it in the past 1 to 2 years. We need to know what we're running. And so you need to focus on it for at least a little bit of time. Now I'm getting better where I'm like, okay, this pace feels faster than easy pace. And I'll look down. Oh, it is. I am running an 11:30, an 11 minute and 30 seconds per mile. I need to back off because long term, if my long run is 10 miles, I can't maintain 11 minutes and 30 seconds. I just can't do it. I need to be running that 13 minutes per mile or that 12 minutes per mile if I'm on a treadmill, 5 miles per hour. If I'm on the treadmill, I need to be maintaining that slow pace or I'm going to crap out. I'm going to burn out and not be able to finish my long run. And if I can't finish my long run, I'm not going to have the energy 2 days later to do my short, fast workout. And that's where my easy pace gets faster. Over time, the work I put into the short, fast speed workouts, that's how my easy pace gets better. So the way I do it with my stronger, faster finisher clients, my one-on-one clients, we work through, we test it, we focus and we track it. And every six weeks or so, 6 to 8 weeks, I don't recommend sooner than 6 weeks, but 8 weeks can be kind of long. So 6 weeks, let's say 6 weeks, every 6 weeks, test it again. How fast can you run and maintain that for 10 minutes and feel like you can go for longer? It will be faster. It might be 5 seconds faster, but we don't make massive gains. And it's these small little increments, but they add up. But in order to make those changes, you have to first test it, get the data, get the numbers. We aren't going by feelings. Feelings lie to us, right? There are so many ways that feelings lie to us. Like somebody just texted me the other day and I was like, ooh, I feel like she's mad at me. She's probably not. My feeling is lying to me. Our feelings lie to us when we run as well. So get the data, get the number, and track it. Pay attention to it. And be disciplined in sticking to that pace for 6 weeks. It's just 6 long runs. That's it. 6 long runs at that pace. And then put in the heavy duty work on the short runs to gain the speed and the pace, get faster on those. And then you're testing in 6 weeks and your easy pace will get faster. Your easy pace will be better. Your easy pace will feel easier. Your easy pace should feel easy. It should feel like, oh gosh, I could run another 2 miles. Have the discipline to not, but I want you to feel that way at the end of your easy long run. I want you to feel like, oh man, I could go longer, but you're disciplined enough to not. Stay tuned for the next episode where you learn how to get fast enough for those photo stops.
Hey, can I ask a quick favor? If you're enjoying this podcast, would you take 20 seconds to leave a rating and review? Leaving a rating and a review helps other runners find this podcast because the platform you're listening to this on will start suggesting it to runners like you. All it takes is 20 seconds. Thank you so much for supporting this podcast. As always, thanks so much for listening. That's all for now. Talk to you soon.